contributor Rick Green. Rick, welcome. Houston School Board approves rifles, shields, and other law enforcement items to be on hand in school. Now, is this a good idea to protect the kids from incidents like Uvalde?
Yeah, of course, it depends on the strategy and the tactics they plan to use in terms of what the access will be to those weapons. Even as the school board member said, Uvalde had all those things and it didn't prevent what happened. And it's because of what we talked about in the past. Proximity is the key. You need someone in close proximity to where the event starts that's armed and trained and ready in that moment. So if they're going to lock these things away somewhere and the police won't have access, will be the only ones to have access to them once they arrive, it's not going to help. But if they're going to make them available to teachers, and teachers are going to be trained to have a sidearm as well, then with all of those strategy and tactics, absolutely this can be a positive step.
All right, Rick, 1 year ago today, the capital of Afghanistan fell to the Taliban. Kareem Nakui was one of 13 service members killed in Kabul in the bombing. His brother committed suicide at a memorial service held to remember Kareem. So what does this say about the cost of Afghanistan collapse under Joe Biden?
Well, Greg, the cost just keeps going up, as you've mentioned and we've talked about on the program. It's not just the deaths in Afghanistan that day and the deaths that have occurred since that time. It's all over the world because it showed weakness to the entire world, and it allowed for people that are bad actors to step forward and do bad acting because they knew America was weak. So this is another tragedy, but add it to a very long list because of this administration.
All right, Fox News has reported that 2,200 illegal immigrants entered into the United States through the Del Rio sector during the past 24 hours. Now, what do we think? Does Mayor Eric Adams of New York City or Muriel Bowser of Washington, D.C., will they welcome them as sanctuary cities?
I thought it was interesting over the last couple of weeks watching these mayors cry uncle and beg for mercy and, because of the handful that have been bussed into their cities. When we get the same amount they've had for the last couple of months, we get that every single day in Texas. So I want to applaud Greg Abbott. You guys know I criticize him quite a bit for things that he's done. I thank him for sending these illegal aliens to these cities so that they can experience just a small part of our pain. And I thank Ron DeSantis for being the one that had the idea, and I thank Abbott for implementing it. And by the way, thank you, Governor Ducey, for filling the gaps there in Arizona. These are very positive steps. Yeah, they are positive steps. Okay, the White House press secretary, she wants you to know that the administration, Rick, they understand your pain. Listen to this.
But why is it that if things are getting better, so many Americans are unhappy with President Biden's handling of it?
So, we'll say this, we have said this before. It's like, we get it. We understand what the American people are feeling at this time. This is a number one priority. Inflation has been a number one priority for this president.
Rick, they get it. They feel you. Inflation is number one priority. Is that good enough?
The beatings will stop when morale improves, right? I mean, that's the feeling I get from this administration. Every time she opens her mouth, every time President Biden or Kamala Harris open their mouths, they're basically saying, hey, just enjoy what you've got. Things aren't going to get any better. You remember Jimmy Carter's whole, this is days of malaise. America's had it as good as it's going to get it. It's not going to get any better. That's the Democrat mindset. They need to just get out of the way and let the people of America be free again, and we'll get this economy going again.
Okay, you talked about Kamala Harris and her words. Well, she has a few words to say recently. Let's check in.
It is critical that we work together to understand where we are, to recognize and have the courage to speak truth about what is obsolete, and then to partner to ensure that we are speaking the same language.
Rick, we're partnering and declaring what is obsolete in the same language as the vice president.
Greg, I just want to say I'm saying lots of words right now, and I want you to be moved emotionally because of the emphasis I'm putting on the words, and they're really important words, and everybody should feel good because I'm using words. I mean, that's essentially the type of thing she says every time she opens her mouth. It's funny, but it makes me cry as well. This is our leadership.
Yeah, election have consequences, and she's one of them. All right, Rick Green, thanks so much. Back in a minute. Mike?